Yeah, you are.
Heyo, duckies and dice fiends! We are live as David mutters to Pixel Chat.
Yep.
It is Tuesday, and that means it is time for the Table Talk Show. We have just good gravy. Everyone is in the house already. Ilaria, thank you so much for the resub. 16 months. That is quite the time. So, thank you. Hello, Lurking Rider, Ribbonanza, who just popped in, Mimics and Misfits. Obviously, Ilaria, Mental, Lamia, Zycram. Who else did I miss? I missed someone else. Did I see a Rex? I think I saw a Rex.
If not, he'll be
Billy,
a long shot.
Billy, hello. Welcome on in, everyone. It is just, oh my goodness. Matt subscribed. Thank you for the Prime resub and hype train. Y'all are ridiculous. Thank you all. Welcome. It is Tuesday. That means it is time for the Table Talk Show. Now you did. He's been here the whole time. I sensed it. I just felt it. So, DC! And we've got a DC. And it's great because we're going to be discussing a little bit about... Oh, Matt with the 5 community gift subs. Thank you all. Y'all. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, friends. I'm trying to get through introductions, and it's just y'all are so distracting in the best of way. It is Tuesday. That means it is time for the Table Talk Show. I believe I am going to get to play Brandon on Friday. I've not had this 100% confirmed, but it would be we've missed the past couple months because the GM has been writing the next arc because we just concluded arc 1. So I'm hoping we will get to play that. Obviously, the schedule in Discord and the Google Calendar will always be updated. But that's what we have going on. Oh my goodness, the Lurking Rider. That was another 5. Wow. Thank you all. Good gravy.
Of course.
Y'all. Hold on. This is you. Thank you all. David will tell you, it's been a weird day for the both of us. So that is... Thank you. Thank you so much. And we lost a David. Y'all ran. Lamia, thank you so much for the bits. Y'all. Okay. Let's see if Twitch thinks we exist again. I can't quite tell.
Yep.
Your kindness literally caused my OBS to hard crash. GG, y'all. You literally blew them. Yes, as Laria said, you literally blew us out of the ether. Yeah, kindness can kill OBS. You can kill OBS with kindness. I was telling David, I literally restarted my computer right before we went live to make sure that everything behaved. But here we are. So yes, thank you. We are maybe finally going to get through this little opening bit. Rex, 35 months subscribed.
Wow.
35 months. Y'all are... It's wild times out there, y'all. David ran his first non-one-shot session as a GM since his hospital stay.
Yep.
And it's caused the both of us to go, well, maybe we can finally do the thing. Thank you for the cheer, Lamia. Maybe we can finally do the thing we've been saying we're going to get done this summer for 3 years.
Yeah.
But...
So, in our defense, Kay has moved twice.
Uh-huh. Twice.
2 new jobs. I had a brief stint in the hospital. I moved. A lot of life stuff has happened, and the scope of our project ballooned and got to be...
Which never happens.
Right? But yeah, it got to be a lot bigger than we originally envisioned.
But yes, thank you all.
Hopefully...
The world is hard.
No, come on.
Did we crash again? OBS seems to be behaving for me. At least it thinks it is. Did we lose a David? I think we lost to David. Well, the world has been a lot. The world is hard. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why. We've lost to David, I do believe. At least he's in a decent pose. But, yes, thank you all. For those of you who have not done the refresh, you literally killed OBS with kindness. David is fighting a battle. Probably going to break the overlay here in just a second. No, he's back. Huzzah. World is hard. We were starting to see a little bit of light. I figured out this week, okay, here's the thing I can maybe do to get myself back on track. And then this, thank you all. Thank you. Genuinely, thank you. Yeah, weather has been wild for Matt, and Matt did a really cool, awesome project that I cannot wait for y'all to learn more about. Can't wait for me to learn more about. But this is what we're doing for now. But as I send David a new Pixel Chat link, and he has to type, I will talk just a little bit before so he could type in his name and have captions when I ask him to answer. David, who the heck is you? And what the heck is we doing here?
I just learned that mangoes can get sunburned. But hi, I'm David, and this is the Chaotic Wholesome Tuesday Table Talk Show, where every week we talk about TTRPG stuff, how to be a better player, how to be a better GM, how to be a better person, all with a focus on intersectionality and inclusivity so that everybody can have a good time.
And oh goodness, we got a volume up emote, apparently. Which, you know, the number of times we've been on mute. We've all been on mute.
Yes.
So today we wanted to talk in our chaotic state. We're going to talk about a thing that we've definitely seen people come up against, and thing that we've definitely. I'm in a lot of Discord servers, y'all. You were a sun-burned mango in the picnic of my life.
Wow, that's pretty savage.
Yeah, that hurts, Rex. That's a good one. We want to talk a little bit about lots of people want to be playing TTRPGs, right? Like, I don't think people want to be playing it not just in person, but on stream. I know I certainly want to be invited to tables, right? I celebrate when my friends get invited, then I'm like, we definitely, when we have done, we tend to not do super open casting calls, but we sit down and go, who do we want? How will they fit? And so much of that is based off of seeing other performances, knowing their vibe, knowing how they are. Even when it comes to talk show guests, we kind of have to go like, okay, what is this person like? What is their vibe? Not just like, let's just check over their social media and make sure they're not using AI art or being racist or something not good, right? There's also a whole like, you're going to be, if they're on the talk show, chatting with this person for an hour and a half. If we're going to be playing a game with them, basically road tripping for 3 to 4 hours. So we need to make sure this person's right. And how do you do that? How do you accomplish that when you haven't been on a stream? How do you get the invite so that you can have a VOD to show that you're chill so you can get more invites?
And I forget who said it. I think I may have heard it from Kay, but don't play D&D with someone you wouldn't go on a 4-hour road trip with is just the best advice. Mm-hmm. Because we all have people in our lives where they're fine for lunch. They're fine for dinner. You could go see a movie with them and then have a hot dog after and then move on with your life. Or like seeing them at social events, like they're at a party, you see them and you're like, I had a 5-minute conversation with you. That was wonderful. I'm full up for the next 6 months. But TTRPGs, especially when they're bad, is really a situation of, oh, I'm locked in here with you, because it's not just you're spending time with someone unpleasant or someone that you're just not wild to be spending a whole lot of, but it brings down, negatively impacts your performance
Mhm.
or the ease at which you perform. Because there are plenty of people where I'm like, oh, those two people hate each other. The performance is great, but I know in real life these two people, ooh wee, if they both knew that they were going to be here. But but yeah, so like, it makes it harder to perform. In some cases, it makes the
True.
performance worse.
Mhm.
And it brings down like the mood of the table, because then you end up with one person is rowing in the opposite direction of everybody else.
Yeah. And one person is working so hard on keeping their face in check that they're not paying as much attention or being as creative as they would, because they just are doing their very best to not look like they want to strangle that person who keeps, you know, pressing their buttons. See, Matt, even that is Matt says we could do one board game and then they can go home. Even a board game can be
Depends
too
on the
long
board
with the
game.
wrong person.
Right.
Especially some of the. I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I am not the biggest fan of board games in general. Not saying I don't like them, right? Betrayal and House of the Hill. I know a lot of people consider it that like basic. I love it. It's one of my favorites. Unapologetically love it. But the board games with meeples, with like the layers upon layers of rules that you have to memorize all of them, and I'm like, if this was a video game, it would just do all of this automatically in the background that go on for 6 to 7 hours, especially when you've got the one person in the group who is neurospicy and literally physically cannot stop until the game is complete. Yeah, no, that can get way too long, way too fast. And reminded of the job catch 22. No experience required. Can I apply? Sorry, we're looking for someone with more experience. Exactly.
Now, if you remember the early 2010s, when IPAs dominated the beer market, which they still do, and I don't know why people like drinking sand and wood bark in a glass, but they do. But there were these rash of breweries that had board games, and like they had like standard stuff, like everybody at this point has played Jenga in a bar at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But then they had like full on board games with like little pieces and stuff. And I would go, and there'd be like 4 people sitting at a table, and then like a stranger or a group of strangers would come over and be like, hey, I want to join. And they'd be like, oh, get in here. And then the like 8 people would all be playing it. And I'm like, you're playing a board game with a stranger? Like, I'm sorry. I'd rather make out with a stranger in a bathroom than play a board game with a stranger, an alcohol fueled board game. Like, humans continue to mystify me because that is unfathomable.
Yeah, there was a ban on a lot of board games in my house because someone in my family had a temper. And the sorry board got flipped more than once because apparently we were not sorry enough.
Also in the news, speaking of board games, even though it's a card game, Vegas apparently offers Uno.
Here's in Catan.
The number of people I know so there's a group of people I know where they don't call it Settlers of Catan, they call it Sheep and Wool, because at the end of the game, the only resources that matter are sheep and wool. And the number of people who go crazy for sheep and wool, and the number of people who have almost come to fisticuffs over sheep and wool.
Yeah, we do not play Monopoly for that very reason. Yeah, we're not allowed to play Monopoly either.
So Monopoly was specifically designed to be awful.
Yes.
And it's wild to me that it is as popular as it is when it was specifically be like, hey, doesn't capitalism suck?
Yes.
And everybody's playing it and going, oh man, capitalism sucks. Let's invent rules to make this better. And they're like, all right, you invented the rules to make it better. It's still 3 hours of suck.
Yeah. Have you got wood for sheep? Genuine Catan phrase that gets uttered.
Yep.
Often.
But and I know I keep dragging this off topic, but I have to. I look if you have been to a black cookout or any sort of like black get together, one of three things have happened. Someone has played spades, someone has played dominoes, or someone has played Uno. And the fact that Vegas is offering Uno, and what's wild about Uno, what makes Uno different than spades and dominoes, is spades and dominoes have set rules, and my people follow those rules. Uno, the rules are different from house to house. Literally, the official Uno Twitter account was
I was going to say, if you have not
can't-
told this story, you have to.
Right. Literally posted, you can't put a draw 4 on top of a draw 4. And hundreds of comments were like, you don't know how to play Uno. Ooh. All I'm saying is, if you are at a casino where Uno is offered, please wear a bulletproof vest. Keep your head down.
Yeah. I went and visited some friends and stayed with a friend who has a neurospicy child who was like, ooh, new person. I need to impress new person. Was very much not ready for Kay. I felt a little bad for neurospicy child. I think we frozen a David, but that's okay. I'm going to keep talking until he's back. Oh, there he's back.
Yeah.
And friend was like, okay, we're all going to sit down and play Uno, right? This is how we're going to occupy the child until it's time for them to go back to other parents' house. We sit down, and the child's like, okay, so when we played this. Whenever a 7's on the table, you put your hand on the 7. Everyone has to put their hand on the 7, and whoever had kept trying to force rules onto the table, where the parent's like, no, child. Like, literally saying no child, not saying the child's name. No child. Uno no mercy is just when you bring out people. Yeah. I made a lot of enemies with a lot of reverse cards.
Yep.
And also they decided we were playing with the thing of like, if you put a draw 4 and you put a draw 4 on top to keep it going, if the person can't do another draw 4, they have to draw 8. Like the draws stack.
Yo. Having as someone who has been in a fist fight both at a wedding and a funeral, the singular game that has caused the most fights at a get-together has been Uno. Without question.
It is a thing. I just saw that Lamia giganticized the ducky emote in chat, and it is incredible. I have never seen that. Lamia, thank you.
Well, now I gotta figure out how to do it.
You gotta play bits.
It's bits.
Yeah.
You need money. Also, thank you.
Thank you. So yes, getting back on topic. My friend and I went to the Fabric District this weekend, and we got back to my place, and she's like, she had weird bites on her arm. And she's like, is this a rash? Is this a bite? This is weird. It seems like an insect bite. I have a weird rash insect bite suddenly on my forearm. I don't know what it's from. For as many who have streaming, I still don't know what bits are. Bits are a Twitter currency thing. It's the Twitch microtransaction, basically.
Yes.
So, as I think it was Lurking Rider said, like, how do you get the job so that you can get the job? How do you let people know your energy and that you're chill and that you are potentially good at this TTRPG thing, this streaming thing, a cool and chill person, if you haven't been invited to a table?
So I paused because I thought my internet went down again, and I was about to be really, really mad about it, but it didn't. But um, the what I've seen many people do, and I would highly recommend, even though I haven't done it, but also I have at this point hundreds of hours of video on YouTube, which is really strange for me to think about. Um, but people will put um, self-introductory videos on YouTube at the top of their Twitter, somewhere on their social media, where they just introduce themselves. And more than once, I've either gone, "Oh man, that person's awesome. That person should be on the show," or I've sent Kay a link and be like, "What about this person?" And when it comes to, especially like a casting for our charity games, like different things we do have different criteria, and I'm not going to get in the weeds about how we pick, even though a lot of it is on vibes. Like, you do not need a gajillion followers to be on our channel. You don't need to have so many paid subscriptions or a Patreon with so many people paying you every month. Like, you don't need a whole fan base paying subscription services to hang with us. Like, we're not those people. There are those people out there. Because just like there are people who are much bigger than us who've been on the show and in our games, we also don't feel like we're too big for people. That'd be silly.
We're not. We're very much not.
Um, but being able to, like, there was one where I clicked on the introductory video that I was like, "Hey, watch 5 seconds. 5 seconds." And just
David,
the
I'm
first
sending you a new link because it has died. It says the last thing you said was, if you're in a casino where Uno is being offered, please wear a bulletproof vest.
Wow.
We lost a good chunk of that. Sorry, y'all. We try to be accessible, and sometimes accessibility doesn't want to work.
The technology is really technologying today.
Yeah. But yes, a lot of it is vibes. And look, y'all, there is little, as a person who does this, who has done this professionally, going draw 5 across the eyes. Thank you for the clip, Rex. As a person who gets on camera and talks to the camera and to people, and has done so professionally for at least a decade at this point, sitting down and going, "Hi, I'm Kay. I do stuff. You should invite me." It's hard. It's difficult, especially if you're trying to like make sure you hit the points and you're trying to read and look at the camera, especially like if you've got one screen. And so you have to look down here to read and then you're like, It's not easy to do. There are some easier ways to do it. And even if it's not easier, it at least feels more natural. So I'm gonna open Pandora's box because I'm going to invite you all. You don't have to, right? But I'm going to challenge you to sit down while you're sitting here and think, this is, if you're watching this on YouTube, put it in the comments. We want to read this. Go, what's a cool thing that happened recently in a TTRPG session I'm in? Right? What's a cool something? And we're lucky, like, occasionally Rex will, in our Discord, like, post something that happened in his sessions where he GMs, but, like, come up with a cool, like, little moment. And then go, okay, how would I, as one person, kind of explain that, act that out. This is kind of the first step of like, how do you do TikTok content? And look, David knows I don't consume a lot of short form content. TikTok does very little for me. I will watch TikToks that are sent to me, but I have never been the person to go scroll. I don't get it. It doesn't. I am long form content all the way. But that is a skill that translates to TTRPGs and performing, right? So if you sit here, so I'm like, so, you know, in the game that we just played, you know, Burton is like walking up and going, oh, Miss Renala, I ain't. It's good to see you again. It's nice to see you. And she's like, It's been 2.5 years, and you just no. It ain't been 2.5 years. I saw you just the other day when I came back. I went and you look different. Yes. My hair and yeah. No. So when I messed up, didn't I? Take out your phone or sit in front of your computer and do that little exercise, right? It's not perfect, right? I'm not on stage performing against myself like Susie Izzard, who is the master of performing off of herself. But that kind of tells me, okay, I get an idea of how well they can differentiate between themselves or two other characters. I get a feel for what's their video and audio setup like, what's their background, you know, and I can see a level of performance. Because look, David will tell you, we are so fortunate that we get to play with some incredible performers. Truly, genuinely impressive performers. Some of my favorite people to play with, they're fine. They're great performers. But they know their character, they know the game, they make interesting choices, and they move stuff forward. And I love playing with them because they're like, I know exactly the level of quality I'm going to get from them. They nail the important stuff every time. They don't have to be perfect. They're the person I need to, you know, balance out the other big personalities at the table. Because y'all, you don't have to be the best performer. Sometimes you just have to be the person who could play off of the big personalities. Because it's not like this is a group of a bunch of former theater kids who are all vying for the spotlight. So sometimes being the everyman who can just go, yep, that was dramatic. So back to the story is so valuable. Hi, I'm DC. Hire me for stuff doesn't go very far. Exactly.
And I really hate a lot of the like corporate motivational stuff around work. There's this one poster where it's like, you know, hard work is free, showing up on time is free, blah 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 blah. All that, like that poster infuriates me, but it does have a bit of a point, and that is there are things that you have control over that don't cost any money, and being professional and being pleasant is one of them. And like sometimes your best isn't 100%. Sometimes your best is 60%. Like y'all can't tell, but there are days where Kay and I, especially me, struggle. Like we are, to be clear, we are always happy to be here with y'all. We are always happy that y'all
My
are here
day
with us.
is always better after the talk show. Always.
But you know, life happens, and you know, sometimes you're in the bathroom throwing up, and then you come sit in front of the computer and put your headphones on. Which has happened to me before one of the games that we ran. And I'm sure has happened to Kay at some point in the years that it has been. But stuff like and we covered it, I think, either last episode or the episode before, but just communicating well. Like we've had multiple games that were canceled from stores, and the big difference between the games that were rescheduled easily and everybody was fine to where there was a little bit of bitterness is someone goes, hey, so I checked the weather report and there's a hurricane and I'm kind of out of the area, but I might not be out of the area, so we'll see. Versus their power goes out and then we hear an hour later that one, they're okay, and two, that they won't be back on.
Yeah. Yes, life finds a way to get in the way.
Right. So, like, if like showing up on time and being ready on time, because another thing is we'll have somebody, because like typically green room is like a half an hour before the show. And there are a couple of things we've done where we want like a little bit longer of a green room, but typically half an hour before we start up. We've had people show up, be there on time, 5 minutes before the show starts. They're like, oh, I need to go walk my dog. And it's like, come on, meow. Or, oh, I need to do this, put my laundry in. I'll be back before the show starts. And then 5 minutes after the hour, they're like, oops, sorry, that took longer than I thought. And it's like, could have done this an hour ago.
Yeah. As Ribbon says, showing up on time is demonstrably not free in regards to commuting. Very true.
Yeah.
And like, look, as we experience today, sometimes technology gonna technology, right?
Right.
I have 100% showed up on time to a thing. And oh gosh, especially games where they're using Video Ninja.
Yep.
Someone will show up on time and it's literally 45 minutes of just refreshing until everyone can see and hear everyone else, right? That stuff happens, and it's not. Hello, Jason. Welcome in. Yes, life happens when you're making evil plans. That pisses me off. Plan for problems. Yeah, like, you do your best. You plan. You communicate as much as you can. But yeah, like, I know my cats are going to be circling like sharks and demanding treats at 8 p.m. And I have games that run at 8 p.m. Like the break time is right around 8 p.m. And I've warned folks like, hey, look, here's the thing. If we don't go on break at 8 p.m., you're going to hear a cat screaming. It's just how it's going to be. Because that's how this is. I can't help it. Because even if I give him treats before we start, he going to go, cool, what about 8 p.m. treats? So what we were talking about was, how do you make it known that you're a good person, to work with, that you are a chill person, what's your energy like? Like I said, I don't want to say it's easy because it's not easy. It is not easy to get in front of a camera and act out a scene. But, by the same token, especially if you're wanting to be a regular on a long-running thing, there are going to be nights where it's going to be hard to show up and to perform. So, RL, I'm a project manager, so scheduling is kind of my thing. Yeah, that's fair. And yeah, like David said, show up, be professional. So much of this space is vibes and what do you know about this person? Who knows this person? Who's interacted with this person? And that kind of brings to the next. Like, that is, how do I get video? How do I get a thing to prove that I'm a good person to work with, to have on? Well, you kind of just have to start somewhere. And if you haven't been invited on a show, if you haven't been on a one-shot, do it yourself. Do little skits. Just do, because by and large, especially when it comes to like researching talk show guests and stuff, is this person interesting? Are they fun? Because we talked about, playing TTRPGs is like being on a road trip with someone for 3 to 4 hours. And you don't, like David and I's biggest fear, who is the sassy lost child, David and I's biggest fear is always like being, and look, this is a perfectly valid way to play TTRPGs. It's not for me, and it's not the kind of streams that David and I run or consume, but it's perfectly valid to show up to the table and be like, I've got a pre-gen character sheet. I want to roll dice. I want to kill baddies. I want, what does your character say to the bartender? Whatever's going to move the plot forward, right? That's a valid way to play it. That's not the players and performers that we're looking for. So we just want to see your personality so that we can get an idea of what kind of player you're going to be.
And to be clear, it is not for the purposes of exclusion or specifically for exclusion. If that is the kind of game that you want to play, where you're just like, go bonk, or I built this incredibly technical character that needs this very specific setup, and I really want to watch it pay off, like Kay said, that's perfectly valid. And in fact, I support a lot of that because reading about a lot of theory crafting, I find very entertaining. I would never play those games.
I mean, there's also space for that. Like, we've talked on this show before, and yes, Matt says, role-playing in my role-playing game? Perish the thought. But like, we've talked on the show before about how there was a one-shot, charity one-shot, where Brennan Lee Mulligan showed up with a Harengon, Paladin, Fighter, like, all of these multi-classes, did something like 400 or 500 points of damage in one turn, and then couldn't do anything else. But he role-played it to that point. He's like, I have this character do this one specific thing. This character was built for this. This is a one-shot. This is what it's here for. That's valid in the right places. Sorry, now continue, David.
But if you want to play that type of game, and Kay and I or Kay and I are running a table, you're not going to have a good time with us, because Kay and I work together on all the things except for the things that I can't do. But I do a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to combat design. And I think I've designed some cool encounters over the years. But all of my encounters are designed to be, one, manageable for people who aren't optimized, and two, very technical on my end so that it could be cool and flashy, but not technical on the end of the player. So if you want like a super technical thing, yeah, so like if you come to us with that, you're not going to have a good time at our table. And the number one rule is our players are safe, and then the number two rule is our players have a good time. Like, we've had games where it was more serious than one of the players thought it was going to be, and you could tell that they were like, and they did a great job. And then we've also had the reverse be true, where it was way sillier than one particular person knew what they were signing up for. And they're like, oh, this will be a good time. It's like, no, narrator, it was not a good time.
The facepalm. Just the facepalm that didn't end. It was delightful. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to Cataclysm Presents on TikTok and watch. Woo, was it funny?
Yeah.
Juneteenth was the time. The people running the game were also players and need to have a good time and a fun time too. Exactly.
Right. And yeah, we don't want to bring you into something where you're going to be miserable. And we don't want to bring you into something where you feel like your time is wasted.
And also, everyone's got to row the same way. Like we've talked a lot about session zeros, and I know we need to set expectations, because if you've got a table of 5 players, and 4 of them are here to role play, and one of them just wants to bonk player is not going to have a good time, and role players are going to be frustrated that they can't role play with bonk player.
And there are lots of other reasons why you may not necessarily fit in with a table, including but not limited to, if I'm casting for an all-black table for Black History Month, and I do an open casting call, and I'm not going to say what race you are, but we know what race you are. But you're not black, and you're like, oh man, I can't wait to be part of this. And you don't have, like, not only is your social media just like your Blue Sky account with like 4 posts, but there's nowhere to find your picture, there's nowhere to find video of you, like there's no vibe checker, and I invite you and you show up and the camera comes on and you're not one of us, you're gonna look pretty bad and I'm gonna look pretty bad.
And you are gonna get roasted alive in the green room.
Yeah. Ooh.
Because I won't be in there.
Yeah, right. Even Kay won't be able to protect you from that.
But yeah, so a lot of it, again, it's word of mouth and it's vibe check. And so just give us something that we can vibe check with, because we will scroll your social media. We will go to the shitter site that no one uses, and we will scroll back through your feed. And we will find the embarrassing, no bueno things that you posted in 2020 because you haven't used the site since then.
Look, recently, Kay sent me a screenshot of somebody's Twitter from 2021, and I was like, "Yo, this is a deep dive."
I mean, it wasn't even a deep dive because they just hadn't updated since.
Right. And also, like, whether you like it or not, whether somebody is malicious or not, people are going to talk. And I think people talking are a good thing, because, like, if you follow me on Blue Sky, you know that I have no other social media. You know that I basically retweet Kay. And you know, outside of people like speaking to me personally, I don't have like a huge presence online. Can I get into games if I wanted to? Absolutely. But that's because people know me from here, and people we've worked with, if somebody asks about me, they'll be like, David could click buttons in OBS. He's okay at that. Or, you know, they'll go, I played in a game where David designed the combat for this. Like, you know, he has experience doing that thing. And so, like, you know, I am not, contrary to popular belief, I am not the most outgoing person. One of the many things that Kay and I have in common is we are both introverts. But if people didn't talk, then I wouldn't have been invited to the shows that I've been on. And people wouldn't have been comfortable showing up to our channel, because, like, Kay is safe as a non-binary person, but there are plenty of people, and I don't blame them, where they're like, oh man, a man is involved? No, thank you. I can't. Gross. Look, if I show up and it's all men, I'm gonna look at you sideways. And if it's all men that look a certain way, if it's all like beard, t-shirt, Oakley sunglasses, I'm out of there. I could hear the dueling banjos from here.
Yeah. Lamia says, it's also part of why I'm not a fan of PNG VTube cam off folks for streamed games. They're hard to vet, frequently quiet, and it removes a lot of options for safety tools. Yeah, I know lots of people who use VTubers for various reasons, and some of them are very valid, especially if you are femme and a femme of color. There's a lot of really good safety safety reasons to not put your face out there. Beyond the very valid points that Lamia brought up, like, one of the reasons I am not terribly fond of them, just as a viewer, just as a casual person watching, as the siren is going off, because of course, while I'm making this point, siren has to go off. They are just not as expressive as when someone drops a juicy secret, or there is a crit, there is something big, and everyone at the table's like, oh, and you have the PNG tuber going, And
Yep.
ultimately, that is such a minor complaint. And I understand. I have a friend who's like, I want to run an all PNG tube TTRPG where everyone's PNG tube is their character. Like it is a 1-for-1 with their character. And I'm like, that's cool. I'm not terribly interested. But again, there's reasons for it. And that's, for me, that's just a personal thing. And yeah, it's really hard to vet people when you can't, see them.
Yeah, and when it comes to now, to be clear, I as a viewer, I'm not a huge fan of VTubers, or people who are just streaming whatever game they have. Just because if I'm on Twitch or I'm on a streaming website, that I am there to interact with and connect with a person. And 2D or 3D art is not a person, is not a people to me.
And the danger with some of that, and I'm going to reference a name I don't want to reference here, but people who are PNG tubers and VTubers are often playing a character, which I know sounds like, yes, we're in TTRPGs, right? We're all playing characters, but cam off, it's very obvious, or with the actual face, right? It's very obvious, or at least it should be. We discussed Bleed when Lamia was on. Go watch that episode. When there's a distinction between the person and the character they're playing. VTubers, PNG tubers are often always playing a character because they are playing the personality that matches the art. And that is exactly what sent... Now, obviously had other issues and all that before, but it's what exacerbated the Dr. Disrespect issues, is that was playing a character, put on the wig, the hat, and the sunglasses, and was the character. And never turned it off. And then tried to claim, turned it off.
It's funny because you're like, it's a name we don't want to say. And I'm like, listen, we always got smoke for Dr. Disrespect here, okay? Always. 100% of the time.
What was the wrestler who the sex video leaked of?
That does narrow it down.
It wasn't Hulk Hogan, was it? The one who went right wing and... Was it Hulk Hogan?
Still doesn't narrow it down.
It was Hulk Hogan. So, like, Hulk Hogan was a personality, right? The wrestler was a personality, but, like, person lived in that personality. You never saw Hulk Hogan not Hulk Hogan, right? And then the sex tape leaked, and he wanted to do, like, all of this, and they were like, well, but, you were on camera all the time talking about your junk. And he's all like, I have it, that's my character, that's Hulk Hogan. That's not me. That's the character that I play. I love that we've got David Frozen at the perfect expression for this. And so, like, that's part of the reason I am a little uncomfortable with people who are, like, I know Terry's a piece of shit and always has been. Absolutely fair, right? But, like, it becomes, like, a little bit of that, like, crutch, a little bit of that's what my character would do, excusing bad behavior. Because I know PNG and VTubers who have just PNG VTube versions of themselves, and sometimes they're on camera, and sometimes they're like, I can't do it today. Like, my room's a mess, my lighting is bad, I don't want to mess with putting makeup on my face, so here's my PNG tuber. That feels incredibly different from the, ooh woo, I've got, ooh woo, I do a voice the whole time, you never hear me not do a voice. PNG VTubers. And look, those have a huge audience, and I am not saying that's not a thing that you can't do. I just don't think you're great at my table. That's all. How about that? He ratted out the wrestlers who want to start a union. Exactly. Throw the whole man out. I have to admit, I'm completely lost to what the topic is now. Yeah, we have wandered, as we often do. But it's how to show that you are a person to have at the table, that someone would want to have. How do you get invites to be on TTRPGs and shows if you have not been on a TTRPG and show? And a lot of that is, vibe check. People need to have a way to look at you, your social media, your videos, something, and see your personality, your whatever. And then, so we've done a lot, really leaning into the chaos. We are, right? Everything is tangentially related somehow. This is what's happening today. But as David said when I broached this potential topic, there's a whole other route in, which a few people hanging out in our chat have taken, which is completely camera off.
Yes. Okay. So, much like in film, there are people who aren't in front of the camera. And much like in music, there are people who are not in front of the microphone. There are all sorts of people who do things behind the camera or off camera to make all of this possible. Many of the overlays that you see are done by Kay. For all of our big games, Jason Domokame, who is not in chat tonight, but is usually in chat, does like all of our like really cool ones, including the one where we got nominated for some award show, but award shows are a whole thing that I'm not gonna get into tonight. But overlays, production. We've had games where at the end of the one shot or at the end of the first episode, someone had done fan art and posted it on the internet. And we've run not often, which I'm trying to do more of, but we've run people's modules on stream, and tons of other channels have run modules on stream. People need to write the modules. People need to do the art for the modules. And if I see another module posted to Drive Through RPG that has AI art in it, I will find a baby and throw something at it. I will do something drastic. I don't know what. I will try not to commit a crime. Mostly because the food in prison is terrible.
Yeah, Ribbonanza says, personally, I do not wish to be observed, which is absolutely fair and valid. Does make it more difficult to build a following on Twitch. And Lurking Writer says, so you're an electron. And yes, we do love our artists and producers. And in fact, y'all, it took you a minute. I'm glad you got there.
Oh, man. It shouldn't have. Ooh, yeah.
One of our upcoming episodes, we just booked the guest, and I'm so excited, is going to specifically be a TTRPG artist and working with artists for TTRPGs, for streams, for character art, for APs, for all of that. Yeah, streaming it's not easy, but we're not going to derail onto how difficult streaming is and can be, especially when you're talking to an empty chat. That is the hardest part of streaming, which is starting out. Yeah, there are people who hang out in our chat, who hang out in our Discord, who just reply to us on Twitter. And it's all like, oh, I know that person. Like, I met the Lurking Writer because Eugenio, DM Jazzy Hands, was having to take a hiatus and was like, hey, people who are here now are cool. If you are here and you do this, follow these people. And Lurking Writer and I, we've been in the same chat. right? We'd been on the same stream, but we hadn't really interacted until that call out happened. And then I got blessed with a lurking writer in my life. And I've been lucky enough to meet Lurking Writer in person when I went to the UK. And as they said above, took off their glasses so that I could see their eyes, even though it hurt. And thank you for that. You didn't have to, but it's appreciated. But like, if Lurking Writer was like, hey, I want to be on the show, here, what day? When Mental Lamia was like, I want to come on and talk about this. We're like, here, pick a day. Jason,
That was a
Shadowmane.
really good choice.
Yeah,
That was
Shadowmane
good.
went through the thing, and we're like, pick a day. Like, yes, we know people. Now, there is an important caveat to this, which is, you need to pick the right stream and people if you really want this to be accomplished. You can hang out all you want in Critical Role's chat. I can almost guarantee you it's not going to get you on the show. I'm not going to say I can guarantee you, because somewhere, somehow it will happen.
There's somebody.
Something will happen, right? Hanging out in Dimension 20's Discord is probably not going to get you on Dimension 20 unless you've got some other in. No, but find other performers, find other people, find other channels that are, you know, up and coming, growing, or a modest, like, stable size that are highly interactive, right? Eugenio, DM Jazzy Hands, is a much bigger channel streamer than me. But because I knew Herb, I had followed, Rivals of Waterdeep. I was fortunate enough to get to run a game for Brian. That kind of gave me an in. And I get to hang out with all of these awesome people in that circle now, because I was a smaller channel, but I was like, this is what I got. This is what my production looks like. This is my safety tools. This is what I want to run. You know, I was able to show I'm smaller. You don't know me that well, but you know that I've been around, and here's our package. And it worked, and it was great. And hanging out in stream and chatting, hanging out in Discord and chatting, volunteering to moderate, especially during big events and big streams, right? When we have anyone who streams knows how much we love our mods. We love our mods. I have met both Kay and David in person and was never seen again. Says Ribbon.
Moderation is a big thing because we're fortunate in, like, we haven't had hate raids. We haven't had a lot of, like, knock on wood, we haven't had a lot of the terrible things that have happened to streamers. But we have had, like, the occasional, like, knucklehead, the occasional chuckle fuck. And every single time, by the time I clicked on the mod tools and went to ban that person, one of the mods had already taken care. And 100% of the mod actions on the Discord that I've been involved in have been because someone brought it to my attention.
I've only met KR IRL, but managed not to be found out as a monster. Look, we know you're a monster, Lamia. We watched you break David.
Yeah.
Time and time again.
Yeah. That was the thing.
Started talking to people in chats. The channel owner said something like, hey, you're keen, want to be a mod? And it kept going from there. Exactly, DC. And now DC is producer to the stars.
Yep.
And it all started by talking in chat. We watched it applauded. Yes, it was delightful to watch David blue screen time and time and time again.
I still blue screen late at night. But yeah, like, if you want to be and to be clear, there are really kind of, like, 3 TTRPG communities, really 6, but we're going to just go with 3. There are the people who play in person, the people who play online, and the people who play streamed games. And there is some overlap there, but not necessarily. Like Kay has played 4 in-person games?
4 total.
And we've had people in our stream games that had never played in person. And then obviously there are tons and tons and tons of people that play in person but have never played stream games. Actually, a guy I know who has even more GM experience than I do, I was like, hey, do you want to either come on the talk show or do you want to come and stream a game? He was like, absolutely not. I was like, come on, you're a handsome fellow, got long hair. Ladies like, he's like, no, thank you. I was like, oh, okay. Does he still play 3 times a week? Which I don't know where he gets the energy to GM 3 times a week.
That's
like
impressive.
Tuesday, Friday, Saturday,
Impressive.
every week. But if you like, but there are plenty of things that need to be done, and plenty of people who are interested in doing things that aren't necessarily on camera. And there's plenty to be done. Like, anyone who's been on this channel for any amount of time knows that in most of the games we run, you won't see me. That doesn't mean I'm not here, clicking on things, relaying information, or at least telling jokes to Kay while they GM.
Try and make me break on camera during the most serious of moments.
Yeah, not every time, just most of the time. But if you do art, one of the God damn.
Oh no, we lost him again. But yeah, and y'all, I want to be very clear. If you do art, doesn't mean you do incredible art. If you do bad memes, if you just do memes, holy cats, y'all. In the home game that I play, we have one player who, he had a character die partway through the session. And he just started, because he was just sitting there and he's like, well, I'm not leaving, but I don't have much to contribute. And he just started making memes. And just every couple minutes, a new meme would hit the chat. And literally the GM was like, if you take those memes out of this chat, this Discord chat window, and put them into the memes and art channel, I will give you this game's equivalent of inspiration. I need them in that chat so I can access them easily. Memes, art, anything like that is one of the best ways to show that you care, that you're involved. Go, David, before your internet was so rude.
At a point, I think it's gone.
You were talking about art. You were talking about people behind the scenes.
Oh, yes. So, one of the programs we use to stream is not Spybot. What's the... God damn it, it's right here on my book.
I know, I'm having fun watching you flail.
StreamerBot.
There you go.
StreamerBot is made by, at least started by one guy. And now like a handful of people have worked on it. Have I ever seen a stream of this person? I have seen a YouTube video where they troubleshoot like main problems and offer solutions in their YouTube channel, which is great. But they aren't TTRPG directly TTRPG person. Same with OBS. OBS is made by a small team of people, and yes, this is getting into larger streaming, but there's so much work and so much collaboration that needs to happen so that we can sit here and do this. Um, and so if you want to be a part of that, please make the effort.
And I've said this before, and I will continue to say it. Like, I am a person, I don't know everything. I know very little. But I A, know where to find stuff, and B, if I don't know an answer, I have a good idea of who to go to get an answer. And that is one of my, like, because I do that, my network through TTRPGs, through video games, through my entire professional career has always been very big because I know people who know things, and then I know people. I'm like, oh, this person is looking for X. This person does X. They're both cool. Let me introduce them. This is how I ended up in the special thanks of like 4 different video games because I just introduced people with no expectation of having anything out of it. I was at a Summer Games Fest conference here that was nearby, and I went to this little lecture series about video games, the future, the current state, how tariffs are going to impact it, all of that. Ended up chatting with the guy sitting next to me. Worked for, I'm forgetting the name of the charity. It's it's the main charity for cancer, just cancer in general, not breast cancer, not thyroid, just cancer. And we started talking, and I'm like, oh yeah, well, I do community management in video games, and then I also stream with a focus on charity TTRPGs. And he's like, I've been trying to figure out how to do charity TTRPG. How can we make it better and easier for streamers, especially TTRPG people, to help us raise money? Like, we want to retweet them. We want to, give them incentives. We want to do all of this. And so I started talking to him about StreamerBot, and I'm like, so if you could because you can make these little export strings, and then people can import them. I'm like, you could make special redeems, you could make special things, and then just offer that as a package to streamers. And he's like, I've never heard of this. I didn't know you could use. I don't think it was American Cancer Society. Who did I say, David? I came home and told you. Yeah.
I do not remember.
It might have been Stand Up to Cancer. I'll have to dig out his card. I've got his card. He was great. But just like telling him, like, yeah, this is a cool resource. This is a cool tool that you didn't know was there. Now that you know it's there, you can. I feel really bad that I can't remember his card's over there, but now that you know that this tool is there, you can make things for that tool that are going to be a resource that's going to help your charity specifically stand out among other charities. Because, y'all, charity is great. We all want to run stuff for charity, but charities are often competing against each other for your time, your attention, and your charitable donations. So, helping someone figure out, again, it's much like in the TTRPG space. If you talk crap about other TTRPG people, you're going to get a bad reputation. Charities aren't going to be out there spreading hate about other charities, right? But they definitely want to know how they can be the most accessible, the most helpful, the most useful. And that same thing. Think about it in unusual, interesting ways, right? My friend, Mr. Light Producer, who came on, builds things for StreamerBot, for streamers. If you go to our redeems, our Pathfinder party up, he built that because I said I wanted it. Loon and I were just talking about the ideal way to design a TTRPG charity event. David and I have spent a lot of time talking about it. We have, but that's not for now. We've spent a lot of time talking about how to better incorporate donations and redeems into TTRPGs. And I have an idea, and it's getting much more closer to being able to be real. But we've got other stuff we have to handle first. So yeah, think about what can you do. Oh my goodness, it's broken. I have to fix it. I'm so sorry, Ribbon.
That's another thing on the to-do list.
Quite literally, fix Party up. Okay, that has literally just been added to my fix list. In case y'all don't know, I had a small disaster where I kind of lost almost everything on my computer and had to kind of rebuild a lot of stuff from scratch. And had backups of a lot of this, but apparently not quite that one. I think I know how to fix it. He got one line. Yeah. Jason's in there. We got Jason C. Shadowmane. So yeah, think about what we talked about before too. How can you we're talking about before, like how can you secure, how can you be the person that gets invited? There's lots of ways we were talking about, especially around just, be a nice person, be pleasant to be around. And also maybe bring some extra skills to the table. It's much the same. If you want to be noticed, like how can you help contribute? And again, don't be rolling up into Critical Role's chat, or like they're not live anymore, but don't be showing up to Rivals of Waterdeep with producer to the stars DC in there going, you know what I think you could do better with production is if you don't be doing that, right? But find someone who's cool, find someone kind of, not absolutely drowning in views, who does good quality stuff, who are personable and entertaining and interacting with chat, and show up and start making memes. Show up and go and hit redeems, right? We notice. You don't have to spend money, right? You don't have to be the person bombing with subscriptions to be noticed. If you redeem stuff at the right time, if you are like Lurking Writer and you post parody lyrics and make the cast laugh, right? There's lots of ways to stand out. Figure out, how do you show your personality? How do you show that you were good and chill and fun? You don't always have to be a menace like me.
Or me, because I realize that when I show up to other people's streams, I really just type some of the most unhinged shit that crosses my mind.
I just get a lot of K out of Urban Bohemian.
Yes.
K. Nope.
We do love it. And it does not happen often, but when Kay and I both are in Herb's chat, it gets
It's a problem. Jason says there's still people in the Critical Role chat when they stream talking to the cast as if they're live, and they've been pre-recorded since, at least 2022. Approach with confidence, but not the unearned confidence of a mediocre white man. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
And I think like a big thing that has not necessarily gotten me a lot of connections, but has shored up a lot of connections that I've made is be interested and be inquisitive. Like, there are people that I've spoken to and still talk to where our interaction was, hey, I saw you do this thing. How did you do it? And to be clear, like, people's time and people's expertise is worth money. And so I'm very clear. I'm like, hey, if you have the spoons, if you have the time, if you're willing to share, please let me know how you did blank. But oftentimes, especially in this space, people are happy to share. Like a bunch of stuff that we have on StreamerPod has been Kay going, hey, how did this work?
Yeah. As been said, don't show up in someone's chat and go, I like your layout. How do you run OBS? I know nothing about it.
Right.
But if you show up and go, like, if you show up here and go, oh, that's a really cool, how did you do that redeem? I'll tell you. I think at one point we were talking about something and Matt's like, I need to figure out how to make short form content. I'm like, oh, I could show you that. Oh, that's easy, right? I know how to do that. And we're happy to. Now, if you show up and say, I don't know anything about video editing, explain it to me. That's a very different conversation.
But yeah, like be interested, be curious, be open to um what to people's expertise, because we live in a day and age where more and more expertise is shunned, where more and more deep knowledge about specific topics is dismissed over what an AI can spit out that is objectively wrong.
Tries a con.
And it's really important that, one, we recognize expertise, and two, that we understand that so much stuff, including a bunch of technical stuff, is passed down hand to mouth. Like, it's because somebody asked somebody else, and they're like, "Oh, that's how you do it."
Yeah, Rex said I've learned a ton from watching DC's Tech Friday streams, even if it's all theoretical. Yeah, the help from just genuine interaction, right? Like, it's so good and it's so important, right? And there are things that DC does in his overlay, in his OBS, where I'm like, okay, I have sat down, I have built it, and I have gone, for how I stream, I'm not going to use that right now. But I have learned it. I know how it works, I know why it works, and I decided to not use it right now. But that doesn't mean I'm never going to use it. I have that in my back pocket if it ever comes up in a space where I'm like, oh, that would be cool for this particular thing. And there's lots of reasons for it. Because, y'all, there's some really cool... I've got a pretty decent machine. I've got a pretty good, decent machine. My processor... My graphics card is 10% more powerful than my processor. Right? Like, it's a decent machine. There are certain things that I do not do with OBS because I know it will take too much of a toll on my machine, especially during a TTRPG stream, because y'all, the processing power and internet power that is required to do all of that is actually quite impressive. It takes a lot more than you might think. There's a reason we run shows for other GMs. We run a production for other GMs because they're like, I could tell the story. I can't do all of that. My computer literally cannot handle all of that. But yeah, learn. And don't just learn and hoard. Learn and share. Because the more people who know, then they can take it and innovate on it. And then they'll hand it back to you. Or more importantly, they'll hand that information to the next really awesome player who will go, thank you for showing me that. Now I can do this. And then they'll be like, oh yeah, you know, I learned that from this person. And the next thing you know, you two have a connection and you're playing with Mark Mercer. That was a Dimension 20 deep cut. If you have not watched Game Changer, really want to watch this episode of Game Changer.
Which I have not. For
But you did
those
see a
watching
clip
at
from
home,
it. You did see a clip from it.
Ooh, yeah. Dimension 20 conducts some outright chaos on their channel.
And also, hang out and chat. Like we're saying, watch. Be there. Lurkers are the backbone of Twitch, right? The number of friends that I have apologized to and been like, I am here. Your stream is up, but I have chores to do, so I am listening, but I'm not here. And they're like, lurkers, lurkers the best, right? So even if you're just lurking, even if you're just listening, even if you're doing something else and you're catching every little bit, follow that person on Twitter or on a site that doesn't suck, on Blue Sky, on wherever you go. Please don't be on Shitter. And then afterwards comment, hey, right? I watched, I love that line. Like, tell them, yes, there is a lurk button. Tell them, hey, I watched, it was cool. Everyone will tell you. Okay, I'm not going to say there is no performer or creator who does not have, called out just in time, I'm not going to say there's no creator who does not have some form of imposter syndrome, because again, I'm sure there are those people out there. We know the kind of personality that they are. We don't need to go into it.
We've seen their shitty overlays. Continue.
We know their personality. We know the kind of person they are. But think about the performer who you like, their personality. They seem like a fun person. They seem nice. They have imposter syndrome. They're afraid that no one is watching their stuff, or if they are watching, they're not really engaging. They're not getting the feedback or the traction they were hoping. Like, they are being eaten alive by insecurities while also doing a shit ton of work to maintain the overlay, write their episodes, get their game, clean it up, make shorts, do social. It is so much work. So just tell them, hey, I watched your thing and I liked it, and I promise you, you will be remembered.
I forget who we were talking to, but we were talking about like the difference between podcasting and streaming. And one of the big advantages that streaming has over podcasting is the immediate feedback.
Yeah.
Like, you could see in real time that people are into what you're doing. Whereas if you're a podcaster, you record it, you cut it, you post it, sometimes months later.
Sometimes a year later.
Sometimes a year later.
That part, yes.
And then there'll be 100 streams on it, but there's no like direct commentary. And so like, you could have the biggest fan of your work. 50 of those streams could be the same person because they just loved it so much. And you have no way of knowing.
And yeah, lurking writer is always lurking. Not sounding creepy, just always lurking. And as Jason said, comment on their YouTube. Yeah, comment on their YouTube. If it's a podcast, give a star rating and leave a comment. Like, it means so much. It means so much. Because again, we are out here kind of shouting into a dark void, going, creators are going, I have something to say and I think it matters, and I think it will matter to someone else. I hope this helps. And if you're lucky, you have a chat like ours who show up and say, yeah, it matters and it helps and it means a lot to me, and you improve my Tuesday as much as, as I say, this stream improves my Tuesday every single time. I have people who are like, oh, I'm going to run games. We want you to be on this show, this TTRPG that's going to stream every other Tuesday for 6 months. And I'm like, I can't do Tuesday because Tuesday belongs to these people. I come here Tuesday and I do this, and I'm not going to not do this no matter how cool the game, because these are my people. And these people make my day better, and they tell me I make their day better, so I'm going to be here and do this. That's all I want. I have no clue what people think about the podcast. I'm like a dying Tinkerbell. Oh my goodness. Oh, goodness. I knew that was going to happen sooner or later. And he's back. That didn't take long. David,
if my internet was a person, if my internet was a man, I would hit him with my cane right now.
Right, it says exactly. We know, please like and subscribe can be grating whenever it says it. But it really does mean something to do something for them. Yeah. A lot of YouTube viewers are still thinking thumbs up is all you need. And that was yesterday's algorithm. Thumbs up does help. But yes, I've deliberately rearranged my working week so I get to be here every Wednesday morning. Lurking writer. Oh my goodness. Just get in the habit of giving people their flowers. We'll be able to see them. Yeah. Like, oh, did that one not work either?
Oh, you sent me a new one. Oh,
I
good.
did.
Good. You
I did.
anticipate.
Yeah.
Fancy.
But yeah, just like, that is the best way to be interested. Because we talk about, like, I work in video games, and a lot of people in video games want to work in video games because they are under the incorrect myth that being a video game dev means you get your assignment, you sit in a corner, you code your thing, you hand it in, and you're done. And that's not the case. It's incredibly collaborative. And I spend a lot of time teaching people how to network. I know, Gilmore, it's almost time. I spend a lot of time teaching people how to network. And networking, people often think it's a dirty word, right? Because they feel like they have to show up and go, hi, I'm Kay. I do this. Here's my card. If you want me for any project, that is the worst way to network. That is the absolute worst way to network. That is not how you do it. You show up and you have conversations like this. And David has seen, I have accidentally flirted more than once, just because I've been like, you're an interesting person. What do you do? Oh, you do that thing. And there's a chopper overhead. I don't know if the mic is picking it up, but I assume it is. Nope. Oh, good. You do an interesting thing. My friend over here also does interesting thing. Can I introduce you? Right? Like, and start making those things. And then people are like, oh, well, they're flirting with me because they want me in their life and they want me to meet their friends. This means I'm in. And I'm like, I just wanted you to make a cool thing with you. Showing up, being interested in the person and what they're doing is going to make it so much more likely that you get interacted with and invited to do things than if you just show up and go, hi, I'd like to be on your stream. Why haven't you invited me to be on your stream?
Right. And again, like doing that and being someone that, you know, you take who you know and you stick them together so that they can do a thing, is really helpful. Like, more so Kay than me, but both of us, we get asked about people that we've had on or that we've played with all the time. And we're incredibly fortunate because almost everyone we've worked with have been really great people. And so when someone says, hey, you had a talk show episode with so-and-so, or hey, you had a game with this person last year, how were they to work with? We could be like, oh, they were great. They were a blast. They had this like cool moment with this other person. And like people we know have either been referred to for things last minute, sometimes day of, or they've referred people. Like I know a bunch of musicians, and I remember right when I started doing music journalism, I was at a bar. I was hanging out with a buddy of mine who's a guitarist, and he knows a bunch of other guitarists. And I'm like, wouldn't you make friends with like drummers and bassists and vocalists? And stuff? Like, why do you know? He's like, oh, because if I get gigs that I can't do, I can kick it to one of my friends, and vice versa. And I'm like, oh, that makes so much sense. Oh no.
You're
Somebody did it again.
we can hear you, but you are visually frozen. But yeah, I will. Fake news: drummers have no friends. Oh, my friend Stephanie will have. Yeah. David. Okay, we are at time, so we can wrap this up and let David escape the rage of his misfunctioning internet. But I will just shout out right now, and I'm putting him on the spot. And one person in chat can call out if they want to identify themselves. But like, I've gotten to introduce some of my favorite TTRPG people to some of my other favorite TTRPG people, and had someone message me and be like, thank you for introducing me to Candace. Like, this thing that I just did would not have been able to happen if Candace hadn't been there. And that is just the best feeling, in that my friend got to do a really cool thing and got to do it because of the person that I introduced them to. And it feels so heckin' good. It's so cool. And do that more, because that doesn't get you followers on YouTube. That doesn't let you make Twitch partner. But knowing that cool people are doing cool stuff that you get to be a spectator for, that you get to encourage and enjoy yourself, means so much. But yes. Did you have a final thought, David, before your internet decides to screw you over again?
My final thought is I'm really, really mad at my internet today. I've had more problems today than I think since I got out of the hospital combined.
Yeah, it's rough. And yes, like Rex says, I want to see my friend shine, full stop. That's a lot of percent. A bunch of my projects wouldn't exist without you fine folks. And like, just knowing that people I like are getting to make cool stuff feels so good. The fact that I don't even have to be a part of it, but the fact that I could have encouraged or passed on knowledge or introduced, like, it feels good. And if you don't know how to celebrate that, I'm sure Mentallamia will agree. Like, go find a therapist. Figure out what's wrong with yourself that you can't celebrate that. And look, it's easy and natural to compare yourself to someone and be like, ah, heck. Right? Like, it sucks that I'm so happy for my friend, but it's hard that I'm not getting the same success that my friend is, but I'm still happy for my friend. That is good and normal. But if you know people if you have friends who cool stuff is happening to, they've worked hard, they're getting it, and you can't be happy for them, all you can focus on is what about me, maybe go work on yourself. That's all. Maybe go work on yourself. Because if you are a friend, you'll be happy for them. And if they are a friend, one way or another, it's going to come back around to you. Have faith in karma. I'll be on next week to talk about how how much you should hate yourself.
I'm sorry, but we don't have a 6-hour time slot for that.
Also, David needs to get his hand on some Xanax or something before
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. Like
Lamia comes out again.
I need an entire 6-pack of beer. I need a whole bottle of bourbon. Like the Kentucky racist stuff.
So it's one of the few things you can get without tariffs these days.
Right.
So, and before Gilmore just consumes me. Oh, you're not that bad. Just David breaks that easily.
Yeah.
That's not a comment on you. Well, it's this much you, it's this much David. Bro, you know I have the Kentucky racist stuff. David and I in the green room had a whole conversation about the phrase "Whistlin' Dixie," which apparently popped out from my subconscious from decades ago. And I went, I know this is racist, but like I should learn exactly how. And it was even more racist than I expected, which is typically how a racist saying goes.
Look,
I support breaking David nicely.
I'm not going to say what it is, but there is a song that is deeply racist that everyone has heard.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I encounter any sort of video that is playing, I immediately send it to Kay.
Mm-hmm.
And then I laugh and laugh and
Mm-hmm.
laugh.
So yes, in summary, so we can let David get away from his terrible internet and I can entertain this cat who is trying to destroy everything on my desk except the cat toys that are specifically here for him to destroy. If you want, how do you get into a TTRPG streaming scene if you do not have experience on a streamed TTRPG? Well, there's easy ways. Anyone can sit down in front of their computer or pull out your phone and record a video of yourself just doing a little skit that's D&D related. Take a line from a previous in fact, how I auditioned to Emergency Power Podcast was they had a Star Trek quote. And they're like, read this out. Right? And I did. I went, here's some YouTube videos. And then I turned in that quote. I read that thing. And they went, yeah, that person. Right? Give people an idea, because so much of it is vibes. Most people don't care. Not saying all. Most people don't care if your setup is not absolutely perfect. Most people don't care if your follower count is not 20,000. Most people just want to know that you're a good person to hang with, that you're entertaining, and that they can be on a D&D road trip with you on a bus for 3 to 4 hours. Damn me which song, because there are several. Yeah. Step 1, have cat. Step 2, question mark. Step 3, profit. Yes, have little murder cat. But outside of that, just have something up so people can see what your vibe is. There's lots of ways to get into the scene without having to do that, which is just show up and chat, interact with people. If you can do fan art or memes, if you can make parody lyrics on the fly like a certain lurking person who writes, figure out a way that you can just interact with people, show that you are active and interested and fun, and I promise you're going to be noticed. Maybe not if you're hanging out in Critical Role's chat. Maybe not if you're hanging out in Ninja's chat. But find people, who actively interact with chat.
That Ninja is a person. Ugh.
And go forth and be memey, be punny, be entertaining, be kind, be interesting, and don't be, as we always say, especially when we talk about, reaching out and asking people to be on a charity stream or a game that you're running. No one owes you anything, right? And have you seen Ask a Ninja? I want to be a little bit careful saying that because, we are in an age where we really need to take care of each other, right? We all really do need to support and be there and take care of each other. But especially when it comes to their time on stream, time and talent, no one owes you anything. So don't go in going, I'm gonna do one piece of fan art and then I'm gonna be invited to be on the 3-year-long weekly campaign. So that's not gonna happen. But if you're genuinely interested, I promise that is the best way to be noted, to be noticed, to be remembered. And then when it's time for them to go, who can we have on? Next thing you know, you'll be a producer to the stars. Maybe not next thing. That's, there's a question mark in between. But we know it's happened.
And it starts with being good community. I cannot art. I cannot music. Kay has seen my MS Paint maps, the atrocities, the war crimes that are those
Great.
MS Paint.
They are very expressive. I can turn them into real maps very easily because I know what you're going for.
But any skill can be learned and can be improved. So if you want to do a thing, and this is obvious, but if you want to do a thing, put in the time. The reason I'm not good at art is because I never wanted to be good at art. The end. The reason I'm good at roasting is because I put in a whole lot of time into roasting people. Kay has seen me rant at 3:00 in the morning for a solid hour. Woken up, looked at their phone, and was like, "Oh my god, who are you even talking about?"
No. It's who is it this time? There's a short list generally. Occasionally someone outside that list, but there is a short list that I'm like, oh, okay, one of these 5 or 6 people did a thing.
But if you want to do a thing in the TTRPG community, go for it. There are resources. Obviously, Kay is the mastermind behind getting all the tech going. But I've spent many hours watching YouTube videos about OBS, about StreamerBot. And Kay and I have spent even more hours putting our heads together, trying to get things to work.
Go watch Tech Friday.
Right. Like Rex said, DC is a incredibly valuable resource. Because when Kay first started streaming on another channel and built that channel to, was it partner or
just affiliate?
Affiliate. But built that channel to affiliate where literally I was the only person in chat typing at Kay. Kay figured all that shit out on their own. Just went and was reading like patch notes and shit. And now has years of expertise. So if you want to do a thing, whether it is art or music or tech or modding, or put in the work and then be good community, and you will find a place.
So yes, that is, and of course, I'm going to throw this out because it is the obvious. If you're doing stuff, if you're being a good person, if you're interacting, and you're not getting where you want to be fast enough, you can always do what I did, which is, well, I guess I'm going to start a Twitch channel and start streaming and running my own games. And then you can invite people to be on. And that's a great way. But that is a very large leap. Absolutely, the silliest combos of things can have a place. Yes. All right. That was a little bit rambly. We definitely
do that.
How to do the thing. Do the thing. A lot. Yes, that is, what was I forget where it's from, but it was a great line, which was like, the ultimate irony about becoming good at a thing is that first you have to be bad at the thing.
Yeah. I think it was Adventure Time.
Was it Adventure Time? Yeah. Like, it's such a good, like, yeah, you do have to be bad at the thing before you get to be good at the thing. And look, David knows I've had plenty of beginner's luck. First time I went to make dice, those dice came out perfect. And I was like, heck yeah. And then I spent months creating, this is such a cool one, but like creating these lumpy, lopsided, pockmarked, just wrong dice that did not look right, did not feel right, did not roll right. That's okay. Sometimes you have a great thing and you're like, this is what I can get back to, and then you have to work your way back up to the beginner's luck thing. So, you know, don't quit just because you get an ugly, I mean, this is my gelatinous cube dice. If I ever play a gelatinous cube, I'm rolling this because, like,
well, now I got to write a game where you play a gelatinous cube.
I mean, even just as a monster, right? Like, look at that chunk out of it.
Yeah,
like, it's so weird and wonderful. It looks even cooler in person, y'all. But it's deformed and bad. And had I quit, I wouldn't have all of the dice. The bean 20s would never exist had I quit.
Ooh, I'm not sure that would have been a bad thing, but I wouldn't have this die that I have used for every game that I have GM'd since I got it. And this die has crossed state lines.
So, go out and do the thing. Be it sit down in front of a camera, try and just do a cute little recording of your thing, Gelatinous Cube, unsung hero of the dungeon. Or go hop in chat, tell someone they're doing a good job, go comment on a YouTube video, go comment on a podcast, go tell people you like what they do, and just watch it come back around. Because I promise you it will. And if it doesn't, go find some better people to interact with.
Right.
It's not saying, again, if you go and comment on Critical Role, they're not going to comment back because they're Critical Role. But, like,
right.
Go find people who want to interact, and I promise you they will interact back. David, who the heck is you and what the heck have we been doing here?
I cannot fathom why anyone would hate their fans. Bob Dylan, I am looking at you. For those of you who don't know, Bob Dylan purposely made a bad album so that he would have less fans. How dare you have that sort of critical and commercial success and then purposely sabotage yourself because you don't like being successful?
Pure
Why did you
fans.
make an album in the first place? Like imagine being an artist and people like your work, and then you're like, look, I don't like your taste in art. You like what I did? You are a problem. Anyway, no. Hi, I'm David. This is where David meanders and Kay tries to reel me back in. The talk show, where every week we talk about TTRPG stuff, how to be a better player, how to be a better GM, how to be a better person, all with a focus on intersectionality and inclusivity so that everybody can have a good time.
Speaking of meandering, I need you to know when you said I'm looking at you, Bob Dylan, captions didn't get what you said, and they put down Pikachu.
Look, Pikachu is an icon because Pikachu was like, Pikachu is my slave name. I will not go into that ball. I will fight my oppressors. And yes, you can follow me around as I travel across the countryside having adventures.
Lurking Writer says, and it's completely true, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle killed Sherlock because he was fed up with the character / being only known for writing Sherlock, and then had to roll that back because the fans, because they went into full mourning over a fictional character. So, yeah.
I'm still mad that Sir Arthur Conan Doyle denied us the Sherlock Holmes Dr. Watson kiss that we all deserved.
And on that note, we will see you all. Hopefully, I think I will be over at Entropy Emporium playing Brandon in the Weird Wilds War on Friday. Tuesday, we will be right back here doing this once again. Hopefully, we have something else to announce soon. I'm holding off just because. But we have lots of guests coming up. We've got people booked. We are very excited. Fandom has always been weird. Look, fandom, in my opinion, goes all the way back to the Greeks when they went, I like the sky. I like the earth. What if they fucked? That's the origin of the gods. So, thank you all so much. As I said before, you always make my Tuesday better. We went very long this time, so thank you for hanging out. I've missed playing Brandon too. I got the dice already. We will talk to you all. See you all next time. We're gonna find someone to raid. As always, be kind to yourself, be excellent to others, and we will see you next time.